everybody, welcome back to C2 Tactical in Scottsdale. Thank you to them for letting us use the range today. You're with us at Active Self Protection Extra, back with my friend Destiny. Today, we are going to play a game that Destiny, as an accuracy first shooter, adores. It is her just comfort zone and her happy place. And this is a reminder for all of us. How can I see how far I have good accuracy that I can actually put a shot in someone when I don't have a range that allows that far?
Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. Its 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
I think we're here on a bay today that has 20 yards, right? So I can hit somebody from 20 yards and I can hit targets out to 20 yards here. And a lot of times if you shoot in an indoor range, they'll be 15, 20, 25 yards, which quite frankly for most people is plenty, right? Like, so I tell people get real good in that 3 to 7 yard range first, then start working on filling out beyond that. But I think sometimes people are like, well, John, if you shoot somebody and they're more than 7 yards away, you're going to prison. That's a myth. It's about why you shoot someone, not how far they are and where. Because if he's killing a bus full of orphans 100 yards away and you shoot him, and because you've got those skills, you're not going to prison for that. You're going to get a medal from the city, right? Eli Dickens stopped a man who had already killed somebody at a mall in Indiana from his first hits were at 40 yards. And is he going to prison for that? No, he's not going to prison for that. They literally gave him the keys to the city. We have police officers who've taken shots with their pistols at over 100 yards and gotten good hits. Now, of course, if I'm getting out at that any kind of distance, I'd rather have a long gun. I'd rather have a rifle in my hand at 100 yards than a pistol. The problem is, of course, I don't carry a rifle around. And so if I'm going to make this shot, I got to make it and know how far it is. Challenge, though. 40 yards. Well, you might have an outdoor range. You might be in one of those places where you can get 40-yard shots and you can set that kind of thing up. Cool. If you can, rock and roll. But what about if I don't have that? Well, what we have out here is we have some ASP targets, the ones that you get from Baker Targets. And it has all kinds of different target sizes on it. And if you understand maths, right, if you can mess with stuff, then it can show you, hey, I can from a single distance, we're going to be at 7 yards today. But if I understand the maths, then I can use a single target with different size shapes on it to simulate different distances and therefore understand, do I have the marksmanship requirements to get hits at those distances? Let's go check out the target and I'll tell you what they look like. So no matter what distance you're shooting, right? So this target we've designed to have this kind of thing. So you have a 6x10. This is the A zone, your USPSA kind of A zone. Old school style thing, 3x5 cards, which is half that, which is the same as this, but instead of, vertical, horizontal kind of thing, right? So we have 3 of those. We have 10 2-inch circles. Of course, we initially put those up there for dot torture and for those things, but a 2-inch circle is very helpful. A 1-inch square is very helpful as well. So how do these work out? Well, if a 6x10 A zone, and I think it's a little generous, if the top of my collarbones is where I want the top of the A zone to be, and we say kind of inside the nipples, right? So inside the nipples and collarbone to diaphragm, it's probably more like 5 inches than 6, but okay, they designed the target, not me, so it's the standard size target. But this is half that size. So either I can say, aha, I shoot a much smaller target, like I want to make sure I hit the heart at 7 yards, or that's half this target size is equivalent to twice the distance. So if I'm shooting this at 7 yards, and I'm shooting this, if I shoot this guy at 7 yards, it's like I'm shooting this guy at 14 yards. So I can say, aha, can I get an A zone shot at a 14-yard target, which is a pretty far target, right, for a lot of people. Now then, let's go over here to our 2-inch circle. Obviously, if I look at the relative size of a 2-inch circle and a 3x5 card, it's significantly smaller. Okay, but if I kind of think of this like the 2 ways that we usually think about an A zone is either this 6x10 box or about an 8-inch circle, right? So an 8-inch circle is about the size of the pumps and pipes here, give or take. And so this is 1/4 the size. So if I can hit a 2-inch circle at 7 yards, then it's like being able to hit an 8-inch circle at 4 times that distance, 28 yards. 28 yards is pretty far away, right? That's a pretty far dude there. This is the 8 ring on a B8 target at 28 yards. And if you can hit somebody at 28 yards, I think you are a superior shooter. You are a very superior shooter. Now then, we go all the way to here, a 1-inch square. Well, the size of the entire head box here is 5 inches. It's pretty good. I'd rather put it in his eyeballs, right? Inside of the ocular cavities, inside this little 3x5 card. But the 5x5 is the same as a 1-inch square at 5 times the distance. So if I'm standing at 7 yards and I can hit this 1-inch square, I can hit a headshot at 35 yards. And that's an incredible accomplishment, quite frankly. You're in the very tippity top of all the shooters. So we're going to back up and we're just going to start again with a couple of A-zone shots. We established in plenty of videos, Destiny has all of the shooting abilities she could possibly need to hit an A-zone at 7 yards, right? So yeah, sure, we can do some of those if we want to feel good about ourselves, but as an accuracy first shooter, she can start putting shots in the A at 7 yards when she wants to be accurate, right? Because you're running a dot. And I know some people come back, well, John, that's cheating with a red dot. Okay, guess what? I carry that red dot with me every day. So if I'm in a gunfight, I get to cheat. I get to use it. So you shoot what you carry. If you go, well, it's not as hard if you're running a dot and it's harder with irons. That's a clue, friend. In a gunfight, I don't want it to be harder. I don't want to have my gunfight on hard mode. So I carry a dot. Shocker, right? So we're going to start here, see how it is. And what I tell folks when we're first getting started on this, take as long as you need to get it. If you just can't get one, if you go, hey man, I can't hit a 3x5 card at 7 yards, well then maybe move into 5 until you can do so reliably, or move into 3 if that's what you need to do, and until then when you can do that really well. And how do we do that? Well, we grip. We make sure that our grip is strong, and grip is the master. Sight set the pace. Trigger is the servant. So we practice all of our fundamentals of marksmanship. Then the super advanced mode is we start putting it on the magic box of death. We start putting some time to it.
Yeah.
So let's go back and let her do a little bit of it. Have some fun. So why don't we go ahead and use the one that we've shot just a little bit, so we, just so we've got it. No sense in wasting that target. Okay. So you feel pretty good about the big A zone at 7 yards. Don't any worries about that.
No.
All right, let's skip that one then. So now I just want you to draw the gun at. Here's a recommendation for you. Don't draw the gun slowly. Get the gun out in a hurry. Okay. If you've got to shoot somebody, he's probably hurrying. But now I need to verify and validate that I'm gonna get a hit at that little 3x5 card. Okay. So when I'm talking about that, I'm thinking like this. I'll show you real quick. So instead of what I see people do all the time, like, okay, I'm gonna shoot this smaller target. So and they go nice and slow to get that gun out. And I'm like, you're wasting time. Why are you wasting that time? Instead, get the gun out quickly, get the gun out, and then once you see it, send it. Make sense? So and I don't want people to feel like, oh, okay, I gotta go slower because the target's smaller. Remember, it's not go slow, it's be careful. How much care do I need to take to make that hit? Now, do I need to take more care to hit a 3x5 card than I did a 6x10 A zone? Yeah, step up and get after it. Go ahead. I mean, you can put any of those 3x5 cards. You pick. Which one are you shooting for?
Let's go far left.
The far left. Go for it.
All right.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. How'd you feel about that shot?
Didn't love it.
Didn't love it.
Didn't love it.
Is it you didn't love it because you saw the result?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and also I didn't love it because I saw my dot right away, but I didn't love my grip, so I felt it was loose. And then that's why I just went just to the right of it.
All right, well, let's be honest. You're shooting one shot. Does your grip matter?
I mean, no.
Not really. As long as I can press the trigger without moving the sights.
Yeah.
Right? On one shot. Now that's me telling you the secret nobody wants to tell you as a firearms instructor. If I'm shooting a single shot, my grip doesn't really matter. Now, when I start shooting follow-up shots, my grip matters a lot, right? And so, okay, so you grip that and you're like, oh, I got to correct that. It went just a skosh right. So now I want you to try it again. And remember to read your sights, right? So you can only send that, adding pressure to the trigger. You got to go, yes, it's there, and send it when you see it. Okay?
All right.
Liked your prep on that one. Your trigger prep on that one was like a $1 bajillion times better.
Yeah. It felt better for sure, but it, 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 felt very slow as well.
Now, I ask you, here's your question in this video. Did that second one look slow to you? It didn't look slow to me. We didn't have it on the timer, but I will tell you it didn't look any slower
No.
than the first one. Okay, it looked like it was going well on that. All right, so now we know we can get a hit at a 3x5 cart. So we can hit a guy in the A zone at 14 yards. That's pretty good, you know? If I'm, okay, so let's put a fine point on it. I'm in the parking lot at the pizza joint. Sent my 13-year-old in to get the pizzas or whatever, and she comes out and some dude pulls a knife on her and wants her pizza in her wallet. Okay, I got to solve this problem right now, right? How far is a parking lot shot? Could a parking lot shot be 14 yards? Easy, all day long, right? All right, now we're going to go to a 2-inch square, or a 2-inch circle rather, right? Now, I'm going to be real. Dot torture, so if you see any of the videos on the channel about dot torture is a great beginning test of fundamental grip, sights, and trigger, but it can become a very good advanced one as well. I'm telling you, if you can clean dot torture at 7 yards, you've wrung out 99% of what you can out of dot torture. Most people would really strive. I've only cleaned it at 7 yards maybe 3 times, okay? I stopped trying after that. And I couldn't, if you were like, John, you need 50 out of 50 on dot torture at 7 yards, or I don't know, you have to lick the inside of a toilet bowl, I'd be in trouble. I'd be like, oh no, I hope my shots are up to date. Because I can't guarantee that I could do it. So a 2-inch circle though, same thing, but I have to settle my sights and I really have to recognize my trigger prep really matters, and I've got to leave it there while the shot breaks, right? So, but I really want this same thing, that I want to go, okay, that guy is now the equivalent of 28 yards away, and I want to put one in the pumps and the pipes. Well, that's a pretty tall order in all reality of things, right? So I'm going to shoot for the number 1 and go, okay, let me get the gun out. There it was, right on the edge of it. If I, so that clipped it, and so I'm going to call that a hit. Okay, so you might go, oh, John's a line break. All right, I call line breaks good. All right, so on the number 1 there, just barely a line break. That's, enough. I'm going to hit him right here. Feel good about that. Now, did I take a long time at that? No, but I took enough time to settle the sight to press the trigger. How long do you have to take? You take as much time as you need in order to do that. Let me do it one more time, because I feel like I kind of clipped the edge of it. Get the gun out to hurry. See it? There's a really good shot. Because what I did there that I didn't do the first time is I recognized that this dot, the one thing when you're a dot shooter is you're going to have a touch of offset. My dot is zeroed now at 25 yards. And so at 7 yards, I'm going to be an inch or so low. And so that second one, I actually accounted for that. So that's where the difference was. Was it a little slower? It was a little more deliberate and a little more careful, for sure. But a better hit, too. Okay? All right, Mr. Destiny, let's see what we can do. Now, big thing, remember, you don't shoot at my pace, you shoot at your pace.
Right.
Okay, so you shoot at a pace that is good for you. Big thing for you, don't shoot at the pace that somebody else on the Instagrams shoots. I don't care what your favorite YouTuber shoots at. Most of them won't show you their misses. Most of you won't show them the bad days that they have. So go at the pace that you can see that you can go, okay? And then work to improve you. Who cares what they can do?